before I officially start, next week, Friday, 25th, you will be writing a test about trigonometry. Just let's find out by the office quickly. Yeah. So you'll be writing a test your year mark, and then you have 2 more exams left for mathematics grade 11, hopefully. That is going to be paper 1 and paper 2. We are busy with paper 1 right now. Next week, we most probably will move on to paper 2. Today, the previous periods, we focused on algebra. More specifically, we focused on exponents and surds. And today, we are going to move to equations and inequalities. So, what we have here is Archimedes, that's the Afrikaans terminology for the nature of the roots. Now, when we're talking about the nature of the roots, it tends me to think about functions. Alright? So I'm just going to run through this quickly. We know that who can tell me what is that triangle again? Delta. Alright? Or sometimes we call it as the discriminant. So the discriminant, if the discriminant is 0, we will have equal roots. If the discriminant is greater than 0, we will have unequal roots. If the discriminant is a perfect square, we will have rational roots. If it is not a perfect square, we will have irrational roots. If the discriminant is, however, less than 0, what will we have? Non-real roots. Or we can also refer to them as imaginary roots. Right. So this is also how you can visually go, and there's a whole summary on how we visually can see everything here, and then we have what we are going to do now. So I'm going to give you a few minutes. Right. So what I want you to do now is solve for x and give your answer correct to 2 decimal places. So let's start with that one. The first one, when you see this instruction here, what does this thing you to think about? Yes, we're going to use the quadratic formula. If you're done with number 1, you can move on to question number 2. Because then you know there would be no solution. When they ask you to solve for x, they're actually asking another way of asking this is again. If you didn't get that, please raise your hand. Let me come to you, help you. Alright, so I'm going to do this one with you. Just to guide you. So when they ask you, for example, let me say, correct to 2 decimal places, and that is a hint when you have a quadratic equation like this. Go and use the quadratic formula. So if I write the expression, given expression as x minus 1 is equals to 0. Make sure that it is in descending powers of x, meaning that this is my a term, this is my b term, and this is my c term. Now, the first thing that I would do, before I go any further, I would go work out the discriminant or delta. So I would say the discriminant formula is b squared minus 4ac. So that's going to be a is equals to, b is equals to negative 1 squared minus 4 times with negative 1 and negative 1. So that's going to be 1 plus, what's the word? So it becomes plus 4. So that means my discriminant is 5. Now, what is the quadratic formula? For those of you who don't know, the quadratic formula looks like this: is x is equals to negative b plus minus square root of the discriminant over 2a. That is just a simplified version. Now, if you do it like this, you don't have to write it over and over again. Now, you just have to do substitution. So now, I'm going to say x is equals to negative. What is the b value? The b value is what? Negative 1. So the negative times negative makes a positive. So that's actually positive 1. So we have here positive 1 plus minus the square root of 5 over 2 times a, and a is 1. So that's over 2. But we have a positive answer as well as a negative answer. So x is equals to 1 plus the square root 5 all over 2, or x is equals to 1 minus the square root of 5 all over 2. Alright. You can work this out in a calculator. You type it into the calculator, you get your answer, and that is the answer that they will ask you for to do correct or 2 decimal places. So, Ronaldo, what you do here is you're going to write out and you're going to show the examiner that you were taught in grade 8 and grade 9 how to round off until 2 decimal places completely. So you're going to write off the right in, what is this answer? 1, 62, 618. Alright, now you count, that is the third number. If this number is greater than 5, then this becomes x is equals to 1,62. If it's less than 5, it stays the same. And here you go, x is equals to, this answer was negative 0,618. So therefore, show this step, negative 0,62. Show your work, please. Because sometimes you make a mistake here and you lose unnecessary for rounding off of these notes. And your round is wrong, then we need to penalize you because you didn't follow instruction completely. Okay, question number 2. I'm going to give you, so what do we see when we encounter things that are the same, or we see repetition? The K method. You see, we have a lot of tools. Now we need to go to our toolbox and taking out of the tools. There was a suggestion for a K method. Maybe try that. See what happens if you use the K method. Maybe solve for K then, before you solve for X. So we're going to say K, X plus 1 is equals to K. So that means that 16K equals to x squared k. That will be the difference. Okay, let's try that. So this is 16. You want to take it to that side. Right, so we can say 0 is equals to x squared minus 16. 0, so that's going to be k. I'm going to do the substitution of k back in here. So that's going to be x plus 4 minus 4. What is k's value?
The following learners from class
there is other ways of how you can solve that. You could have used that in grade 12.
This learners will go to Mr. L. Brian's class. Thank you.
A cubic function. Remember in grade functions, which looks like this or this. How many roots there? 2 roots. Quadratic is x to the power of 2. This is x to the power of 3. How many roots do you think this will have? 1, 2, 3. So those are the roots here. If I was to draw it, we look something like that, and it's going to be looking like x is equals to negative 1, or x is equals to 4, or x is equals to positive negative 4, positive. Okay. Do you see we are actually touching on grade 12 concepts now? So I thank you for today's lesson. I know it was short, but I thank you for coming. Monday morning, 7:45. Not 8:05. Okay. Good morning, learners.